Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning and thank you for joining us this beautiful morning on Saturday Delight. I am Olayinka Ali and
very nice to be here once again. Saturday Delight is the name of the program coming to you live from Western Spring Television. We are transmitting live on channels 190 on Star Times. Tunde Ido is my name. And Saturday Delight is a program to make sure that it comes up to make sure that you enjoy your very Saturday, as always, with us every time. It's a loaded package for today, and we will be bringing you quite a whole lot. Very shortly, we'll look into the dailies, and I have the Punch newspaper. I
have the Nation paper.
Yeah, you're a lady of the nation. And very shortly, Yinka was in town to put up quite a whole lot with one very great man. He's done quite a whole lot for himself. And how did you find him in the course of the week? Don't tell the world who you're bringing yet.
We went to his gallery.
Okay.
We saw some of his paintings.
Wow.
And
you were amazed.
Honestly, I was fascinated.
We'll bring that to you very shortly. And there's a lady who does some beautiful adire. Wow. We'll talk to you about that. But very shortly after this interlude, when we come back, we'll have our analyst who will look into some of the stories making the round from the dailies this morning. And we'll bring you first guest amid so many other things we have for you. Stay with us. It's still Saturday Delight. All right, thank you for being there. Saturday Delight is still what you are viewing on Star Times channels 190 on Western Spring Television. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's begin this morning. We have quite a whole lot of stories making the round from the different papers that I have with me here. I have the Punch newspaper with me, and Yinka still has the Nation. Let's just look at some headlines making the rounds, but we like to welcome our in-house analyst. He's a proprietor, he's a politician, he's an architect as well. It's a pleasure having architect Goke Omigbodo in the house with us this morning. Good morning.
I'm happy to be on Western Spring Television.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's just look at some of these stories making the rounds. Federal government to sanction FIRS, NNPC and other MDAs for backdoor recruitment. This is in line with the fact that they've been saying backdoor recruitment. This is something that is not going down well with the federal government at this point in time. But would you say the federal government is just realizing this, that it's this last minute before this administration winds up?
I don't think the federal government is just realizing it. It's been there all along. When you talk of government, you are talking of people that constitute the government. And it's the same people that must have been involved in this backdoor recruitment because somebody like me, who is not a public servant, would not be involved in backdoor recruitment. But it's understandable the president is like trying to look very good these days. That's why he would also lash out at governors about taking on
local government funds.
No, don't say still.
Oh, that's the language you used. That's the language you used.
Taken from the funds of local government authorities and all that. So I think it's okay that at least the federal government is trying to look good now. What ought to have been done all along, if it's still done right now, it's all right. But like I always believe that issues like this should not be treated with this ostrich gesture approach, whereby you bury your head in the sand and you think nobody can see you, but the entire body, which is actually a lot bigger than the head, is being seen by everybody. So who is federal government? Is it not the people that constitute that government, the ruling party, and the top public servants in those agencies? But let them stop it. At least that will be good news for us if it is stopped.
All right.
On The Nation, police discontinue case against students arraigned for making false claim against Buhari's wife.
Well, the interesting thing about that is many people may be surprised that I would say that, for starters, the right of that young man stopped at poking at the nose of the First Lady. Because the First Lady also has a right, and because that she's the wife of a public figure, I don't know if within our constitution she's herself a public figure, then she should be subjected to ridicule and all those kinds of situations. That's bad enough on the part of that young man. And well, if somebody complained and there was a law to handle the situation, and the law was going to take its course, and perhaps on the intervention of the First Lady, the police is now reversing itself on it. I think I would straight away give kudos to this First Lady for acting like a good mother. And it will surprise you that there are a lot of Nigerians, I am one of them, that admire the First Lady in spite of not believing in any capability of the president himself.
All right, because of this, the speed at which INEC offices is being burnt down, we saw what transpired in Ogun State. So many PVCs burnt. We saw what happened in our dear state here, Osun State, a couple of weeks ago. Now, Imo State, it's been pathetic that such things is happening more in the southeast. Here again, it's occurred. What does this portend for the 2023 general election?
I am not sure it's happening just more in the southeast. It's just started happening in the southeast. Osun is not southeast.
No.
Ogun is not southeast.
We've had these experiences in the southeast.
And if we've had these experiences in those few locations in the past few weeks, is it not that the security agencies and INEC itself ought to have tightened security around their installations, their offices, and their locations, so that people will not just be able to walk in and start throwing petrol bombs around to burn the places down? And we need to appeal to our citizens. The things that we are burning are those things that were done with the money of the state.
Absolutely.
So it's the state money that we are burning. A little digression. Please allow me this digression. I was in Calabar just this last week for the annual general meeting of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. So I said they should take me to Tinapa. And what I saw there, I was almost literally weeping. Wow. Because I could see what was put there, and the people went there, looted the entire place, and you know, the place is a ghost of itself now. Such a huge beauty that we should all have been proud of, not just in Cross River State, but the entirety of Nigeria, reduced to nonsense now by people who went to loot the place, broke all the glasses, stole a lot of things. And you know, so if that is happening in such places and still happening in INEC offices, pray, with whose funds will those things be replaced? Is it not our funds?
Absolutely.
So please, let's, as we ask security agencies to tighten their belt and make sure that they guard all those locations the more, let's also appeal to our people. Please stop this arson. It's not good for us as a people.
All right, now, the Inspector General of Police challenges arrest and imprisonment order by courts. What do you think?
Well, the Inspector General of Police, as far as I know, in fact, there's also another one concerning the Chief of Army Staff. And when I saw those things, honestly, I laughed within myself. I said, in Nigeria, who is going to enforce these things? You know? Who is going to go to the Chief of Army Staff to enforce it? Who is going to the Inspector General of Police is it one of the military police officers that will arrest the Chief of Army Staff? Or is it one of the regular police officers that will arrest the Inspector General of Police? Well, the truth is that in other parts of the world, those arrests will be effected because the institutions are strong there. But here we don't have strong institutions, and even the Inspector General of Police is too big. If you say you want to arrest a DPO and you are not strong enough with some state backing, believing that that DPO must actually have offended the state, you are joking. You will not be able to do it. So we should make sure that the rule of law stands the more, and whatever contempt that those officers would have committed to have made the judges to make those pronouncements should also be, what language do I say now? Should be discouraged. I mean, they should be chided for doing such things, and they should be told not to do such things again. You are holding public office in trust for the people. Exactly. And so then you should not do anything that will warrant the law courts saying that you are running into contempt.
No.
All right, you got any other thing?
Yes, let's discuss this. 15 judges under probe for alleged misconduct.
Judges, it's becoming erratic. Those who should administer law are now being arrested. A couple of years ago, we saw what happened where EFCC operatives were picking up judges.
Was it EFCC or DSS?
DSS, beg your pardon. DSS picking up judges. And this are the set of people we have constituted powers to administer law. And where is that law?
Well, the judges are part of the citizenry. They are our brothers, sisters, cousins, and friends. What kind of society do we have? If we have a kind of society that believes a lot in bribery and corruption, selling and buying of votes for people to emerge as governors, then as legislators, and you have three arms of governance. The judiciary is the third one. So the head is virtually corrupt. The neck is rotten. So what are you expecting of the shoulders? So the judiciary, which should ordinarily be the shoulders, are also not as upright as they should be. It may interest you that some lawyers were just discussing casually, they didn't know I was eavesdropping on them, and they were mentioning a particular judge in a particular state, that it's only in his court that you can get true judgment without bribery in one particular state. I'm not going to mention the name of the state, and that they say it's only that particular judge. They mentioned the name of the judge, mentioned the name of the court, you know, and I was eavesdropping on them, and I said, wonderful. So you mean in any other court than the court of this judge? And in that state, they must have like 17, 18, I don't know how many judges that they have there, and we can speak of only one being upright, at least according to the testimonies of those lawyers. So there's a fire on the mountain.
Amazing. I can say, okay, it's always a pleasure having you, either on radio or here on WSTV. And we hope subsequently on a larger scale, I know we'll have time to discuss quite a whole lot of other things. It will always
be my pleasure. You know, I am idle now because I am not doing what I thought I wanted to do. I wanted to be governor.
Let's see, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
It's all right.
It's still Saturday Delight coming to you from Western Spring Television, and definitely we have quite a whole lot. By tomorrow, it's going to be 8 days where a new administration took over the existence of governance in our dear state, Osun State. Very shortly, we'll bring you up to speed ever since the creation of this great state. 31 years minus your age. Okay, don't let me expose you. We'll bring you up to speed as to who and who have governed our dear state before we bring in our next guest on the program. Please stay with us. Saturday Delight is the name of our program. All right, you're welcome back. Saturday Delight is the program that you are viewing on Western Spring Television for today. I would like to say a big thank you to Sheyi Omotayo for his troubles at this moment in time. But yeah.
You brought Sheyi's talk on air.
Seriously. we'll take it up very shortly.
No problem.
All right. All right. Now, in the last couple of years, it has been wonderful in our dear state of Osun State. And we have always had good governments and governors in Osun State. We've had about 10 of them ever since the creation of Osun State. Let's bring you up to speed. By this time tomorrow, it will make it 8 days our dear governor was sworn in, who is actually the 6th democratically elected governor of Osun State. But a couple of years ago, that's between August of 1991 till January 1992, where he left office as an administrator. We first had the first administrator in Osun State, and he goes by the name Leo Segun Ajiborisha. He was the first administrator that we had in our dear state of Osun between August of 1991 and ended his tenure as a military ruler in January of 1992.
Yeah, in January 1992 to November 1993, we had Isiaka Adetunji Adeleke. He's a brother to the present governor of Osun State.
Elder brother. And also, after the late Isiaka Adetunji Adeleke, we had another administrator who took over the affairs of this great state from the 9th of December 1993 till the 22nd of August 1996 as a military administrator, and he goes by the name Anthony Udofia.
Yeah, from August 22, 1996 to August 1998, we had Anthony Obi. He was also an administrator.
Yeah, I know we've had quite a whole lot of administrators.
I think he was the last. Oh, okay, we have another administrator.
All right, and after Anthony Obi, we have Theophilus Bamigboye, who also was an administrator. He ruled from August 1998 and ended his tenure May 1999 as a military administrator.
On 29th of May 1999 to 29th of May 2003, we had Chief Adebisi Akonde.
The one we love to call Baba Omo KKK.
Really?
And also, right after Baba Adebisi Akonde, we have another governor, Olagunsoye Oyinlola. Olagunsoye Oyinlola took office on the 29th of May 2003, and it ran till the 27th of November 2010.
And then from 27th November 2010 to 27th November 2018, we had Rauf Aregbesola.
Fortunately, coincidentally, he is the present Minister for Interior Affairs in Nigeria. And last but not the least, the outgone administration that came in on the 27th of November 2018, and his tenure ended on the 27th of November 2022 under the platform of the APC. His former governor, Adegboyega Oyetola.
Ademola Adeleke will be, he's our present governor, and tomorrow we'll be marking 8 years.
8 days.
8 days. I said 8 days. 8 days on the seat.
Yeah. Governor Ademola Nuruddin Jackson, Senator Ademola Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke, the present and incumbent governor who assumed office last week, Sunday,
the brand new
27th of November, under the platform of the PDP. So here we go. Those are the 10 governors, administrators, both administrators and governors who have ruled the affairs of Osun State in the last couple of years, ever since about 31 years that Osun State had been created. Very shortly, we will bring you a man who has done greatly for himself. He has been able to establish what sculpture is like and what it has been like doing the sculpture work. He's designed quite a whole lot, And obviously, one of such is that we have at over the Olaya Bridge here in Osun State, among so many others. I will not really let the cat out of the bag very shortly, but we'll take this short interlude, and when we come back, he will be seated with us in the studio this morning. Please stay with us.
He is one of the most influential artists to emerge from the 1960s workshops created by Oli Baya and Georgina Baya in Osogbo, Osun State. Credited to being Africa's first head painter, when in 1964 he made a contemporary art form inspired by the Yoruba tradition of incorporating beadwork designs into ceremonial fabrics and beaded crowns. It is a big pleasure to have with us in the studio the celebrated Chief Jimoh Braimoh. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you, Daddy. You're still looking like a 50-year-old boy. I don't know. You tell us, maybe is it about sculpture that's making you look this way?
Well, it is through the grace of God.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'm 79 plus.
Wow. Wow.
By the grace of God, by April 2023, I'll be 80.
Wow.
God willing.
So,
God willing.
grace to
God willing. There's still so much to talk about this very amazing man. Chief Jimoh Braimoh's works merges Western media and Yoruba style motifs. He is credited with being Africa's first head painter when in 1964 he made a contemporary art form inspired by the Yoruba tradition of incorporating beadwork designs into ceremonial fabrics and beaded crowns. In 1972, he represented Nigeria in the 4th All-African Trade Fair in Nairobi, Kenya. One of the famous paintings was presented at the World Festival of Black Arts, which we all remember as Festac 77. He was the first Nigerian to be awarded a membership in the Contemporary World Association of Mosaic Artists. Chief Braimoh's works have been exhibited both home and abroad. He's also an efficient teaching artist. In 1974, he taught at the Haystack Mountain School of Crafts in Maine. He also taught at the University of Bloomington and other schools in New York, Boston, and Los Angeles. His affiliations are numerous. It's his field of activity, just as we stated, beadworks, painting, etching, art, and he's a typical Nigerian. And he trained as an electrician. That's where we will kick things off. An electrician. You are into sculpture today. How? Match the two.
Well, when I got out from school,
yes,
I had opportunity to stay with one of my uncles, who's a younger brother to my father, who happened to be electrical contractor. As I was going to school, and at the same time, following him at the weekend for all installation of electrical. So thereby, I think I have to choose a career, sort of, because I wanted to further my education by then, but unfortunately, I couldn't follow it up due to shortage of funds from my father.
Wow.
But nevertheless, it was a stepping stone. As God has it, destiny. Because by the time I learned electrical, I never thought I would meet Duro Ladipo.
Okay.
That is how I met Duro Ladipo. And happened to be, by the time he wanted to start his theater. So I became a doyen to him because he has been looking for somebody who can to be in charge of stage work and electrical work. So that's how I got to Duro Ladipo National Theater But from there, is towards making it a stepping stone to one another. From there, it was there I had opportunity of taking part at the workshop organized by Ulibaya and Georgina Baya. This is something I had wanted to do, wanted to go to Ijebu, the technical college in those days, which I was not able to go. Fortunately, my mother happened to be a mat weaver.
Okay.
So I inherited coloring from her. So it took me no time to do all what sort of work given to us during the program. But at the end of the program, 4 of us were selected out of about 70 people who took part.
Wow.
Myself, 277, Chief Morano Ilami, and Adebisi Fabumi.
Okay.
That's the beginning of my career, the turning point of my life.
Wow.
How do you normally feel having emerged as one of the most influential artists from that particular 1960s workshop conducted by Ulibaya? How do you feel?
Well, Ulibaya was a German who came to Nigeria, not to Oshogbo precisely.
Okay.
To Oshogbo is by the way. But he came to University of Ibadan. He was employed to teach English and poem and so on and so forth. But due to his interest, he loved voyage, moving around countryside to look for some other things rather than sitting down in the university. According to him, he said he found it difficult to stay with the white people, preferred to go around and see what is happening. So that's how he got to Ede, became a friend to Obatimi Lawi that time, the Lobu, and came to Oshogbo, met Obadenle. All those Obas were very friendly. And Obatimi happened to be a drummer, while Adenle happened to be the head of Oshogbo and in charge of Oshun Grove. So became very close to them. They so love him because his attitude. And at the same time, a friend to Olokuku.
Okay.
So that's how both of them, Susan Wenja and Uli, became a good friend of Obadenle, while Obadenle adopted Susan Wenja as a daughter.
Yeah.
So that was what paved way for Susan Wenja to have opportunity to do all sorts of artistical work at Ocean Grove. Susan Wenja happened to be an artist from Paris, whilst Ulibaya happened to be a writer from England. Both of them met in France and came to Nigeria, became wife, but getting here, they so much fall in love with all our tradition because the port of art, the port of culture is more or less in Oshogbo here. We have every day, there's calendar of festivals. Ida, Ogun, Oshun, all the festivals, all the deities have their own days. So Susan Wenja fell in love with religious art, while Ulibaya fell in love with contemporary. That was how he decided to be a friend of Drew Ladipo. When we are saying the development of art in Oshogbo, we cannot forget Drew Ladipo, who played a leading role in the whole exercise. Bro Ladipo happened to be a teacher, son of a catechist, and at the same time, lover of songs. He was the first person to take drums to the church. That time, that was about 1961, when he sang Christmas, instead of Christmas carol, he called it Christmas cantata.
Okay.
Went to the church at Balogun Agoro and play drum. Became a problem for the father because there have never been any drum instead of piano. But Ladipo said, well, as time goes on, every church will be using drum. That was his prediction.
Wow.
Today now, there is no church you cannot find drum.
Drum.
Ladipo happened to be the first person to take drum to the church, but it became a problem for his father, that made him to become sick because a lot of criticism from the church members. But eventually, Ladipo never bothered.
Okay.
Started to continue with what he loved to do. And he met Ladipo, who happened to be a lecturer at Ibadan, but relocated to Osogbo because of the love of what he saw here.
Okay.
As he was here, anytime he was going to Ibadan and coming back, he would see a beer parlor, which is called Popular Bar. Ladipo was the one running the Popular Bar in those days. The only one and only bar, because if you are looking at a bar in Osogbo, not more than about 4.
Okay.
But anytime he's coming from Ibadan, he will stop by, drink 1 bottle, and go. Little by little, he became a friend of Duro. And that's how he advised Ladipo to start drama, because he had the Christmas cantata he sang in the church. That's how Ladipo started to form the theater in 1963, which I was one of the first set of Ladipo.
Let me bring you back a little bit before we go into how you started, where you started, where art had been. From your early days as a young boy, primary school, secondary, or the tertiary institution,
well,
how did it go? Tell us about that life first.
My early days, after I was born, I was taken to, my mother happened to be from Awori descendant.
Oh.
From Ijaniki, his mother from Igbesa.
Okay.
So, in those areas, they cherish education. Nobody, you cannot find a young man at home, young boy at home, at about 8 o'clock. Most of them must have, either you go to farm or you go to school. But they choose to go to school rather than to go to farm. But later they can now go to farm when they come back from the school. So that's how I became part and parcel of a student. I started my primary education in 1948. I remember Baba Abioro, Elijah Abioro, who was very popular, the owner of Decca, who was recording Sonny Ade in those days, happened to be our principal in those days. That was Eredo, is a village, very remote area, but as remote as it is, it has 2 schools, 2 primary schools, which was funded, very well funded, because they cherish education. That's how I was there for. And I came back to Oshogbo to attend. My father wanted me to come home. We came home together because he didn't want to leave me because I was the only child he had that time.
Oh.
So anywhere he's going, I must go with him. Send another school again. So I went to Baptist Okeokola again. From there, 1955, went back to Eredo to finish my primary education. From there to Ilaro to attend Anglican modern school. Well, modern school of those days are more like a university. Because reason is because the Anglican made proper arrangement for education and craft. They didn't think of education alone. They think of something that you must do. Apart from being educated, they want you to do something after. So they did, there's a class for cookery for women, anything to do, house cleaning, and some other things. But for men, artwork, carpentry work. So from there, I can know the angle or calculation of any house or whatever. So people, even after, people think I happen to be, maybe I should be an architect. And the reason is because what I've learned in those days at Anglican modern school. So later came back to Oshogbo and finally to finish my education.
Right. Your work merged both Western media, Yoruba style, and motif. How easily do you achieve this?
You mean what?
Your work, your art.
Well, my art, you know, as time goes on, when I got to Duru Ladipo, I have a big burden on me, especially Duru Ladipo have, you know, loved me so much that he put more responsibility on me. Before I leave Duru Ladipo, every day is around 9 or 10 p.m. Because after the theatrical artwork or whatever, or drama, I still have to stay with him till about 8, 9, 10 before I go home. So I became the manager of the Duru Ladipo National Theatre for many years. And being a manager, I had little or no time for my artwork. But when we had opportunity of traveling in 1964 to Germany to art festival, I saw a lot of artistical work either at the airport or private houses. 1965, we had another opportunity to London Commonwealth Festival. But from there, we traveled to Germany, to Netherlands, to Belgium, where I saw, especially in Netherlands, where I saw mosaic. Then when I came back, I thought I should do something different because all the 4 people, you know, selected were doing almost the same thing. I said, I want to break away. I have a signature for myself. So that's how I started with, in that most of the time, we used to be at the palace because due to the love that Ulibaya had, Obadele had in Ulibaya, he gave him the upper part of where he was living to turn it into a gallery. So that is where, if I leave the theater in the afternoon, by 12 o'clock, I have to be at the palace. But most of the time I always see Papa Adele. We chat together, talk together for almost eight years before Baba passed on. So by then, the museum, closed up. I only moved the material to Prague because there's no place to place them. But having said that, we had opportunity of working together with him, and that's how I started I used to see crown on the head of Baba every day. And I said I should do something instead of what I saw in Netherlands. I should use another way. Then I went to buy beads, broken bottles, and so on, and lay it on top of a plaque. And I, went to Libaya's house, dropped it in, with his staffs when there was nothing, because I don't want him to see.
To see you.
So when he came back, he saw it and said he was fascinated. And that's how he said, oh God, I have to start. This is what you should continue to do. Don't do something else, but continue with this. So after he left Nigeria, I graduated from there to flat surface.
Okay. And
that's how I met, art exhibition. My first exhibition was held in Goethe Institute, German Cultural Institute, in 1967.
Oh.
I had about almost 27. In those days, there used to be a preview.
Okay.
A day for preview means the friends of the gallery will come and see what they have.
Okay.
But most of the people who came fall in love with the work because they have never seen it before. 20 of them gone.
Wow.
By second day, when about 100, 200 people came, only 7
was left.
So from there on, I thought, well, this might be the prediction of Ulibaya. So I continue with that. From there, I started to have opportunity from embassy to embassy, embassy to embassy.
Wow.
So that's how I became doyen of embassies.
Wow. Now, let's look at how you started, pencil and oil painting. In the modern world in which we are today, sir, is this still relevant? Pencil, or what do you normally use? We've seen some of your works that we've been showing on the screen. How do you find time to sit down? Is it pencil or is it oil painting?
Well,
which one do you do the most?
I call it, we had a program for it in the US, which we call it therapy.
Okay.
Therapy. For old people in those days, for old people, when you are about 60, 65 in US, they take them to people's home.
Okay.
That is the old people's home, where they will retire.
Okay.
Because their children are not around and nobody to take care of them at home. So the government made a place for them where they can be taken care of. So most of the time, they either sleep, read a bit, not much to do, but they wanted me to go there so that they can move their hand. How could they move their hand? But to lay the beads, you have to string it. So they are in loose form.
Okay.
They have to use a needle with a string and then started to string it. As they are stringing it, they are moving their hand, they are moving their finger, they're moving everybody. At the same time, when they want to put it on the table, on the plaque, they must use their head to know the kind of color. So that's why they call it bead therapy.
Bead therapy.
Bead therapy, which means anybody who wants to do the kind of work I'm doing must be patient, must concentrate, must know what he's doing. Because once you lay it on top of the glue and dry within 2 hours, you cannot remove it again. So this is why you have to be patient. You have to be calculated and make sure you know what you want to do. So it's brain work and hard work.
In 1972, you represented Nigeria in the first All-African Trade Fair in Nairobi, Kenya. How was the experience like?
In 1977, FESTAC, that was the first FESTAC. Being that my work has been in vogue, it was in the limelight of FESTAC. They collected there's a art section of federal government who used to do collection of artwork, and those are the people who, I mean, that's how they were able to build the National Gallery, which is at Ingamu in Lagos, where we had the FESTAC. Because they have collected so much from different artists, and that's what they exhibited, especially Nigerian side, before other countries, participated. So, but being that I used to have an exhibition with the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in those days, Federal Ministry in Lagos, USIS, German Cultural Institute, French Embassy, Alliance Française, and so on and so forth, because they always want to have my work exhibited. So, but in 1973, before then, I think after I left Doladipo, so they have seen some of my work before. So that's how they were able to exhibit it.
Okay, so very quickly, the Osun Grove has been enlisted as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for about 18 years. What gains do you think the status has brought to the Osun Osogbo Festival?
To
Osun Osogbo's festival?
Well, I think in 1968, I left Doladipo for Ife. And getting to Ife, they wanted what we did at Osogbo, what Uli did at Osogbo, they wanted to do it in Ife.
Okay.
Because Uli had left Nigeria by that time. But they want the university authority wanted something of that nature to be done. So I think after that, they wanted to bring community of Ife back to Ife, back to Ife from Ibadan. So that's how I was invited to be part of them. There were so many professors, professor of choreography, music, school music, Akpabot, and Akinva, Olarotimi, and so on. That's why Jimmy Shulanke was there, Robinson, part and parcel. We had so many programs. So, but and then we have Professor Wangboje, who is in charge of fine art. So, Professor Wangboje left for Zaria in 1972, and that's how I went with him in 1972. Had opportunity, they wanted me to show the kind of mosaic that I was doing. But in those days, they used papers in Zaria to illustrate all what we wanted to do. But when I got there, I taught them how to do the mosaic practical. and that's how I became a good friend of the Vice Chancellor's wife, Professor Audu, and became student of the Ahmadu Bello University studied sculpture. Yeah. But after about to finish, I was invited by the State Department, that is American Embassy, to go and teach at Haystack Mountain Craft School.
Wow.
So from there, opportunity continued to fall in from one place to the other. I was given opportunity to travel around the United States for 9 months to work with the American Indians. The American Indians are more like our own people. They do artwork, and their own lifestyle is more like Africa, sort of. So they are doing bead painting, bead work like I do. Okay. But the way they do their own, they different from the way I do mine. So we had to exchange of ideas together. Yes. There are so many, there in so many areas. When I say American Indians are the owner of America. Okay. Or the native, they call them Native Americans. But they have now formed a place for themselves. They are not within community. They have their own community, and they don't pay tax anymore. Okay. Really? So those are the people that I work with. They scatter around the whole, either in Browning, that's Georgia, or in California, and so on, or Richmond, and so on and so forth. They scatter around. I traveled around almost 6 months before coming back to Nigeria to attend FESTAC in 1976, 77.
Yeah, Chief, before we allow you go this morning, let's look at art. The way Africans, the way we take art, it's not like the Europeans. They have so much passion for things like that. Why do we have that, and how can governments improve in the works of art for people like you in Nigeria at this moment in time?
The appreciation is not all that there, because they don't count it to be important, some sort of, but it's gradual. Okay. Because in those days, most people used to hang photographs in their homes, but these days, because due to the importance of art, the art can be used as collateral these days in the bank. Depends on who is who. In Europe, they can sell art for millions, but they can use art as collateral at the bank. So I think Nigeria is borrowing that kind of idea too. Okay, some of them now have turned it to a trade. When they buy a painting for 20,000 this year, if they leave it for another 10 years, they can sell it for 1 million. So that is art now. Wow. So then maybe that is why some of our Nigerians are now falling in love with art and buying it. Some used to buy it for pleasure, or some buy it for commercial purpose. So that's why we have so many galleries in Lagos now. But it's the people who love art, who appreciate art more, are the Igbos.
Really?
Yes. The Igbos appreciate art more because their own culture is quite different from ours. The Hausa too love art, but not
as much as
the kind of art we do is Arabic art. Okay. While what we do here and the Igbos do are African art. Though they do African art in the north, but not as our own, you know. So that is the difference between the two.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure speaking with Chief Jimoh Braimoh, who was born in 1943, and he is a Nigerian painter and artist. He's one of the most influential artists to emerge from the 1960s workshop conducted by Uli Beya and Georgina Beya in Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. Since then, he has become one of the best-known artists from Oshogbo. On behalf of our Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Femi Adefila, on behalf of the head of station, the entire management and staff of Western Spring Television, Chief Jimoh Braimoh, we are so honored to have you. We wish you the very best, and please let art continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Saturday Delight is still the program, Yinka. We'll be back very shortly. Another amazing lady is here. We will still be talking with her. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and it's still Saturday Delight from Western Spring Television. And if you're just joining us, you can still get to watch all what we have done right here on all our social media handles, on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on our YouTube page at Western Spring Television, at Western Spring Television. We'll be glad to get feedback from you and your suggestions, opinions, contributions as to getting things better from this point, and to always serve you and give you the very best. Saturday Delight is still what you are viewing. At this moment in time, there's a very amazing young lady in the house with us this morning, and I just hope Yinka will find her size from what she has brought in here. Adironke Busari, she is an Adire designer, and she's we actually have a couple of her works with us here. Good morning to you, Adironke.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you, Adire. I hope you have a size that will fit Yinka.
Are you not particular about your own self?
Me, you have seen my sizes here.
So
now.
who told you I was my own sizes here? She has my sizes in her
There
store.
are sizes for everybody.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Same here.
Adironke, what inspired your love for Adire?
Okay, let me say, I studied fine arts in school.
Okay.
So I specialized in textile artist. But you know, that was not what I wanted to do before. I wanted to be a nurse or a medical person.
Really?
Yes. So I was still looking for admission for like 4 years, still bent on doing that. So later I went for a degree in Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, and I was given fine art. So after then, I was so disturbed. Everybody around me was like, you just want to be drawing. Because, you know, mentality, people believe artists, when you are given fine arts, it's just about drawing and drawing. So at the long run, after some orientation, I just decided to, okay, let me just be here. Let me just stay there. And after 100 level, 200 level, we have different areas of specialization in fine art. So I decided to go to textile. You know, there's sculpture, there's ceramics, and the like. So I decided to go to textile. So when I started the lectures and everything, I developed interest in the field, and I was like, okay, how do I do this? You know, there are a lot of people that have actually passed through that process, but they are not doing it. They are not really
We're not trying to do it.
They're not trying to do it like I am doing now. You understand? Okay. Some people, after finishing, they just start looking for a job elsewhere, or just going around on how to live their life. So after then, I was focused. I was following the practical aspect in school. Then, during my IT, you know, some people, you go to places to look for money to go and during the period of 6 months IT. So I decided to learn more, to know more. So I went to Nike Art Gallery, Oshogbo, to go and learn more on their type of Adire. So then after then, doing my NYSC, I decided I still want to learn more because Adire is very, very wide and it's actually very, very wide. There are lots of designs to it. There's a lot of things.
Really?
Yes.
So it's not just the aspect, put the thing inside
no.
one. Really?
No,
Have you done it before?
I might start this morning.
No, actually. You know, some people just believe it's just about you just tying it and dyeing it, and that's all. We have many designs. We have many ways of wearing it. We have many ways of making it.
Really?
You understand? And we have, so after then, I went to Abeokuta because in Abeokuta, there's another way of them making. Which
is different from the way they do it.
Which is different. Yeah. There's Oshogbo Hon. Oshogbo Hon is more of batiking.
Okay.
Oh, batik.
Okay. Ronke, hold on.
Yeah.
Tell us the different type. Yeah, and now you're talking about batik. Which one? The tie and the one. You tell us the different types of adire. Then which one do you specialize
like the one I'm wearing now?
Yes.
This is like a batik.
Okay.
One method of batik, because batik also have different methods.
It's kind of wide.
Yes. This type I'm wearing is actually a stamped method of batiking.
Okay.
There is freehand method of batik. I would have brought some, but you know I was not really so there's another method of freehand. That is what we do mostly in Oshogbo.
Okay.
The freehand method, whereby all the designs we design them with our hand.
With your hands.
Yes. We have a material we use, which is, we call it pencil, but it's like a foam sharpened.
Really?
Yes. So we design them with bare hand. Yes. And we have another one of stamping, whereby you just carve the design in a foam. Okay. And then you put it in a wax. There's a thing we use, a wax. It's like a candle wax. We dissolve it. Okay. Yes, we dissolve. After dissolving it, we use a stove or probably a little gas with a low heated light. Then we put it. We use it to design. After the wax, after waxing, then we dye. After dyeing, then we dewax again. Wow. So that's one method of adire. You know, so at times people don't know there's a difference between adire and Kampala.
So there is batik, there is adire, and there is Kampala.
Okay, let me briefly explain that.
Now I'm learning.
Yes.
Yes.
There's difference between adire and Kampala. Okay. Adire is the real name we all grown to know, like the general name. Adire. Okay. That's the English. That's the Yoruba name.
Adire.
Yes, adire. Are. Yes, wow. That is the name. Okay. But Kampala is like an English name. You know now the Chinese, the English people are copying our work now and using it to produce. So that's why you see there are cheaper adire in the market for 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 naira, and people believe it's still adire, whereas it is not our own indigenous adire. It is actually machine-made adire imported from China to us. So that one is Kampala. So the name is just like a company name Kampala. Okay. You understand? So it's different. But in adire again, we have different methods of adire. So that's why I said we have adire batik. Okay. We have stitching. Okay. We have weaving. Okay. Yes. We have tie and dye. So that is it. So in batik, I think I've explained that batik. Yes. We use candle wax and a pencil foam, like a pencil to draw different designs on it, like different. You could just think of anything. Really? Yes, just draw it on it, and there's a process. If you want 2 colors or 3 colors or more colors to be there, because in a particular cloth you can have like 4 different kinds of colors. That's why you see some adire there are multicolors. There's a way we do them that makes them appear like that. So then, aside from that, there is stitching in a way whereby you take a fabric and you stitch it with needle and thread. You can write anything. You can start to write your name, or ABC, or anything. Then you started to stitch that part. Stitch it. Yes. So after stitching that part, you started to dye it to different colors. Then you lose it. After losing, you just dry clean it and everything. So then there is, I said there is knotting. There's knotting too. We call it kiko. Direonico.
Adireonico.
Yes,
really?
that's knotting. Whereby you take it, you rope, you knot it. After then you dye it, then you lose it again. You understand? So, and there's the one with there's tie and dye. But you just take a material, okay, like something like this is actually a tie and dye. I actually brought most tie and dye here. Yeah. So this is something like this is actually tie and dye. You understand? We just you design some parts like this. This is the process that goes like this. Like this. So you tie it with a rope. You tie different parts with a rope. Okay. You tie one. This is one tying. Okay. This is another tying. You understand? So after tying, I've already separate my different types of dye that I want to use. So you start dipping them inside, just like that. That is the general one that people actually know. So after that,
that's the one I've always known.
Have you done one before?
No, not that. I've always seen that it's because I actually want you to help us out. The process at which, what do you mix? I know there's this blue
chemical,
something.
Yes.
What
after then we have hydrosulfite.
Wow.
Oh. We have caustic soda, and we have different colors of dye. So we mix those three together to make hydrosulfite. Hydrosulfite help the dye to penetrate in the cloth very well and stay there. Okay. Caustic soda also assists the hydrosulfite to make the colors come out bright and good. So if you are not mixing your hydrosulfite and your caustic soda very well, you might have a problem with the results, with the end results. You understand? Or if you are having a good hydrosulfite and a caustic soda, but your dye chemicals are not good, it will also affect the end product of the cloth.
Everything must be well measured.
Yes. Exactly. So there are measurements. If you want to do a 5 yards of cloth, there are measurement to it. If you want to do just a shirt, there are measurement to it. So you just have to follow the process. You know, it's something that is not actually very easy. It's actually very easy. One kind of is very, very stressful.
It is.
Yes. That is why the ones we do ourselves are expensive
than the
normal imported ones.
Okay.
You know, like the batik method I was trying to explain. Yes. Before getting a fabrics, and you have to use 100% cotton.
Only cotton?
Yes, 100% cotton.
Well, you source the fabric here in Nigeria?
Yes, we do. We have to use 100% cotton. Okay. Because if you use polyester or this nylon material, the chemicals, they won't absorb. It's just like you pouring a water on a nylon. You know, it will just slip away. It won't absorb it. But you know, a cotton material will absorb anything very well.
So those materials are durable, like lifetime?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Let's come back to you as a person who you've actually decided this is your own line now. Taking up this challenge, how has it been for you with the economic situation that we have in this part of the world?
Okay, thank you. When I started, Adira is actually very, very lucrative.
Wow.
Yes.
So don't worry, you have an assistant that's from today.
No, I want to follow where she's going.
Yes, actually, there is actually money there, but at the same time, the risk is much more than the gain. Oh. Yes, the risk is much more than the gain in the sense that you might, okay, you are my client. You give me to produce like 50 pieces of cloth for you. And at the end of the day, I got my materials already. I got the chemical, I got hydrosulfite, caustic and materials. Hoping all of them are good. You get, you know, there's actually no way for us to test if those chemicals are good before dipping. So at the end of the day, I finished the design on it and I dipped them inside the dye and I realized all of them, all the chemicals are not good. You know, I've run into loss like that. Yeah. So as lucrative as the job is, the risk is also very, very high because at times I blame myself. I just sit down and blame myself that, okay, why am I doing this? I don't think I want to do this again. I want to be a baby girl.
The baby girl lifestyle.
Yes, I want to just sleep and wake up and just be myself. But later I look back and I see how how many people have actually inspired a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues that have actually started this business also because I am doing it.
Okay.
I realized because I've trained a lot of people. I've trained more than 20,000 people.
Oh,
I've trained more than 20,000 people.
In just 3 years of you starting professionally?
Yes. If you run through our page on Facebook, on Instagram, you'll see most of my trainings. I've, there's doing those, some politicians, actually, when they want to do their campaign, then this is their constitutional project.
Okay.
So they invite me. I submit some proposals to them and let them see what. So last 2 years, I had a lot of trainings to do. I traveled around Southwest.
Wow.
Yes, to train people. So I look back at all that. Then I have a gallery now.
Oh,
okay. I have a gallery at Fagbesa here in Osogbo.
Okay.
I have a workshop I manage, a little workshop I manage in Estate 2.
Okay.
So, and I have a lot of people that chat me up almost every day, that they want to learn this, they want to do this. I'm doing this because of you. I'm doing this because you are doing this. So when I just feel like giving up, I'll just look back at all of that. I'll look back at the years I've wasted, the money, the energy, the sleepless nights, the night of thinking of, okay, I want to do a design that is different from what people are doing. What can I bring out for people to sell? How do I improve? So I think I still need to be more consistent in what I'm doing. I think I don't need to give up. So that's actually one of the things that keeps me going.
Okay. What are the principles that guide your business?
Principles. Make me understand.
Like you just told us about what motivates you.
Okay.
So what are those principles that guides your business?
In putting up all this that you do?
I know what I want for myself.
Okay.
Right? I know what I want for myself. When I started, I know I cannot be making the materials and at the same time undo my the social media page myself.
Yes.
So immediately when I actually want to launch the brand, launch the brand,
yes,
I hired a media director, a graphics designer.
Okay.
So we have a laid down principle we followed, like, okay, for January, this is what I want to do. I think I'm answering the question, right? Okay,
yes.
So for January, the graphic designer already knows you are giving us a graphics design. So for doing some festivals, we already know that, okay, we made ready-made adire for people to buy and wear. So we know, okay, at a particular period, this is what we are coming out with. And at times when things are not irregular, even in the country now.
Yes.
So when some things are coming that want to disrupt our laid down plans and everything, we just know how to maneuver ourselves into it.
Okay.
Looking at your challenges, because I know you've had challenges, you've had victories at this point in time, but looking towards the future, in another 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, where do you see adire in this country and in the world at large?
Even before 2010, now it's actually becoming so competitive.
Really?
Now.
Wow.
Yes, now, because a lot of people are actually into adire now. A lot of people, I can tell you, a lot of people are actually into adire. They believe since somebody is doing it and somebody is doing fine, they can also do it. And aside from that, I think people are getting to use to go back to our culture. People are going back to our culture. People are seeing the beauty in Nigerian made. So we are getting more foreigners are actually buying. So people are thinking with that they can also make money from it. So a lot of people are in the business now. So before let me say before 5-6 years, if not, everybody will start wearing Adire.
Okay.
I'm serious. Because presently now there's no way you cannot rock Adire. I used to tell people, there's no way you cannot wear or rock Adire. So there's Adire jackets, there's top, there's shirts, there's trouser, there's just think of anything. So in the next 5 or 6 years, trust me.
Thank you. You brought me up on this because okay. Don't worry, we'll talk about that off camera. You got anything?
Yes. What has been your greatest entrepreneurship success so far?
Success, right?
So far.
Okay, there are many. Okay. Actually, there are many. There was. I think that was going to 2 years now. I was made the FCMB Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
That was around December. Was it December 2021? So 2020. No, all over.
Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
yes,
that's
so if
huge.
you go to their social media page, FCMB, you will see that. So that was one of the breakthrough for me. So, and after then, seeing a lot of my apprentices also doing good now, it's actually one of one of my success story. Then, to some extent, the brand is well known, not only in Osun State, but at least I supply clothes even to the north, Abuja, Kano, a lot of people. Almost there's some ashwebis you will see online that when I see them, I know, okay, this is my handwork, this is my design, and I am also, that is also part of my success story. And again, when I officially opened my gallery, my small store in Fagbisa, that was last 2 years too. That was last year officially. So that was actually one of my success stories too.
That's nice.
Many more to come. Many more to come. We'd like to thank you most sincerely, Runke Busari. Keep it up. But before we allow you, let's talk to those out there who still prefer to look for the quick 2,000 naira. There's quite a whole lot to do.
Urgent 2K.
Urgent 2K. What advice do you have for them?
I'll just, my advice is just know what you want for yourself. You understand? Not because I said, okay, I go to school, I went to school and now I'm into that business, and you think you can also be like me. Just sit down, know what you're capable of doing, know what you want for yourself, and just follow that path.
Yeah.
And just follow that path. Be determined, be consistent in it. There are times that there are challenges that you feel like just giving up and you don't even know what to do. You can just follow that path. You don't have to start begging people around for money. Somebody like me, I even hate insult. So if I beg you for money, so I hate it. So just try and just be determined that this is what I want to do. There are many jobs out there that are paying, that people are doing very well and fine. So that's my advice.
Aderonke Busari, we'd like to thank you most sincerely. We wish you the very best, and you've got customers from us now. I know I'm going to do that.
Do you buy me one now?
If it's your size.
She has my size.
Of course, definitely.
Oh my goodness. There's one particular person, don't sell on credit to him here.
Okay. His name is Sheyi Omotayo.
Okay.
You see him outside.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on the program, Saturday Delights today. Next week, Saturday, God willing, is another time. We will definitely serve you the very best. Tunde Idowu is my name.
And Olayinka is my name. Have a beautiful Saturday.